Hi everybody, I'm Rosemary and welcome to part 10 of my 12 Styles of Christmas series, where I'll be focusing on the nostalgic fun and colorful quirkiness of retro Christmas decor. I hope you enjoy. For this first DIY, I'm going to be using a selection of retro ornaments from Walmart, as well as some blue paint, a thick piece of cardboard, and this margarita glass from Dollar Tree. I wanted to match the blue color of the Christmas balls on the ornaments. So I took a couple different colors of paint to kind of just mix it together. It doesn't have to be exactly accurate. I just wanted to get it as close as I could to the color on the Christmas balls. And then I just mixed those two colors together and then added a little water to the paint mixture. And then that's going to allow me to get kind of a runny paint that I can then just kind of coat the inside of my margarita glass. Now I'll just do that by continuing to twirl the glass around and then tapping it on a covered surface to remove any of the excess paint. In order to color the stem and the bottom of the glass, I will go ahead and brush paint the paint mixture right on top. Before painting the glass, I went ahead and traced an outline of the top of the glass onto the cardboard. And while the paint's drying, I'm going to go ahead and cut that out, along with another rectangular piece of the cardboard that I just kind of folded up and then hot glued the side to keep it together. And now I'm going to just hot glue that piece to my circular piece. Now this is going to serve as an insert for my margarita glass. So I'm going to paint it with some white paint and then sprinkle it with some of the Dollar Tree fake snow. Now to create a retro mercury glass type finish for my margarita glass, I'm going to take some silver metallic spray paint and also a crumpled up piece of plastic bag, which I'll use to dab the wet spray paint once it is applied. And here you can see I've sprayed a section of the glass with the spray paint, and now I'm just going back and dabbing it off with the piece of plastic bag. And then you can see where that creates a great kind of mercury glass finish. And I'll just continue to do this all over the surface of the glass, including the stem and the bottom. Next, I'll take my snow-covered insert and just place that into the bottom stem of the glass. There's a little kind of alcove there it can stick in. But before I begin to decorate, I'm going to take a couple of these little wood blocks from Dollar Tree and create some risers. I'm going to do one single one and then two put together, and then I'm going to cover them both with some of the snow. I also removed all of the little hooks and ornament hangers at the top of the ornaments as well. And then I just decorated my scene, starting with the large tree to the back left. And I did use hot glue to attach all of the little figures. And then the little deer right to the front, kind of leaning on the tree a little bit for some extra support. And then one of the small trees there to the left. And then one of the trees with the riser, the little cube riser there behind the deer, and then the two-tier riser went behind that one, and then the fourth tree just to the side of that. And then, oh my goodness, I am loving the way this little cutie came out. An adorable little deer vignette in a faux mercury glass type glass, a perfect retro touch for your home. For the next DIY, I'm going to be using a couple Dollar Tree trees, a Dollar Tree small vase, and these retro colored ornaments from Walmart. Now, when I purchased these trees, I thought they were the regular white ones that they always carry. Turns out they are this fabulous iridescent shade. So they make the perfect tree for this project. And so what I wanted to do was just add the two trees together to create a fuller tree. And so I'm going to just use some zip ties to do that. I'll put one at the top, one in the middle, and one towards the bottom. Next, I wanted to give this globe vase a mercury glass finish as well, but I wanted to go this time with that pink shade of the Christmas balls. So I went to my craft paint stash and I found this magenta colored paint. Now, it was pretty much at the end of its life cycle there, so I just went ahead and added some water right to the bottle, shook it up, and that's pretty much the consistency that I want the paint to have, so it's nice and runny. And again, I'm just going to twirl it around and then just bang out the excess onto a covered surface. And then for the exterior, I'll use the same process. I'll just spray with the silver paint and then go back and blot with the plastic bag. And then I took some floral foam that I cut down to size and just placed it right in the vase. Then I took some glue and just gave the top of the foam a nice coat of glue and then sprinkled it with some of the faux snow. Next, I took my tree, which I had decorated with the Walmart Christmas balls, and just stuck it right into the foam. And that's it. A cute little iridescent retro Christmas tree in a pink mercury glass vase. For the next DIY, I'm going to be using these retro style window clings, as well as this Dollar Tree ice bucket. You can get that in the party section. And I want to kind of match that background on the window clings. So I just, again, got a couple of different paints that I had already and just tried to create a color that was similar to that background there on the window clings. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to get it somewhat similar. And now what I want to do is, again, take a piece of plastic bag and use that as my applicator. And again, begin now dabbing the color onto the metal. So I'm doing kind of like a reverse mercury glass look a technique. So before it was the color was the base, and then I was splattering the silver, and now I'm kind of doing it opposite. Trying to get that same effect, but now using this faux silver ice bucket instead. And then to give it that final retro touch, I'm going to just add one of these window clings here to the front, also some of those little holly leaves as well along the side. And you can Mod Podge those on for a more permanent hold. And there you have it, a cute little retro style ice bucket, or you could use it as a planter or even to fill and give as a gift basket. And now for the winner of the Red Truck Banner giveaway. And the winner is Robin Ellis. Congratulations, Robin. For the next DIY, I'm going to make one of those retro style little TVs out of this K-Cup coffee box. And so to do that, I'm going to just take that top flap and kind of where those two indents are, I'm going to just draw a straight line there. And then on the other side of the flap, where it attaches to the box, I want to measure about that same amount down. So in this case, it kind of is where that little black box is. So I'm kind of lining up with that black box to draw my line. And then I'm going to just cut the flap in those two spots. Next, I took some white paint and painted all the inside with white paint. And then I painted the outside with black paint. I also painted some beads and some push pins with the black paint as well. I also traced and cut two pieces of heavy cardboard the same size as the bottom of my box, and then I just wanted to glue those two pieces together to create an extra thick piece of cardboard, and then I painted that with some white paint and then sprinkled it with the fake snow. This creates a base for the inside of my box. To paint the exterior wood on the TV box, I wanted to lighten that brown that I had on hand a little bit. So I just added in a little bit of tan paint to get this lighter color. And then I just used a sponge brush to go over the surface that I had already painted black on the outside of the box. And then just using that sponge brush, it just did that kind of streakiness and gave me that kind of wood grain that I was looking for. And I just covered the entirety of the outside of the box with that brown paint. For the interior of the box, I used some sky blue paint to create a blue sky background. And then went back with some white paint to paint on some puffy clouds, and don't forget to get around the sides as well. Next, I put in my snowy bottom, and I kind of had to come in on an angle, but if you kind of twist it around a little bit, it just snaps right down there into place. And then once that was in, I went back and replaced the flap that goes there on the bottom and just covered that piece in nicely and glued it in place. And then, sorry for the blur, but I just used the push pins as legs and pushed those right into place through the cardboard on all four sides. And then it was time to create my TV scene. So I started with this Dollar Tree bottle brush. It was a little bit too tall. This is the smaller one. It comes in that 2-pack set. So I did have to cut it down a little bit. And then I glued it right into place with some hot glue. Next, I took one of those Dollar Tree ornament campers. So these come 2 to a pack, so I just used one of these, again with some hot glue, and glued that right into place. And then I just took this little snowman figurine from the Dollar Tree little village sets, the little figurines that come with those sets, and that completes the scene. To paint the accents, I'm going to use this Butter Crunch colored craft paint. And I'm going to paint along here in the little kind of groove that's left from the K-Cup box itself. So on that flap, when you pull it up, it kind of leaves this little circular or kind of semicircle shaped indent there. You can see it there on this side a little better. And so I'm going to just use the paint to paint in that section and highlight all along that kind of curved space, kind of like the way a TV screen in those days used to be. And then on the top and bottom, I'm going to use some craft sticks or popsicle sticks that I cut down. All I did was cut off the curved edge and had like a straight edge there, and then just painted those to match and glued them in place. To create the rabbit ear antennas, I took one of these little craft sticks, kind of like, you could use a toothpick instead if you didn't have something like this. I think they were some kind of stir sticks or coffee stirrers that I had. But anyway, I just cut that stick in half, and then I'm going to just use my hot glue gun to poke some holes there at the top of a water bottle cap. And then I'm going to just use some hot glue to hot glue the two sticks in place in the two holes that I made. And of course, I'm going to kind of push them out a little and create that rabbit ear appearance. And then I'm going to paint them with some metallic craft paint. Now I did use bronze here. I showed copper, but I actually used bronze. And now here is where I used the little beads. I did actually paint those in bronze as well. I originally painted those black and then decided that I liked the bronze better. So I went back and painted those before attaching them with some glue as the knobs on the side of the TV. And then here is the finished project, complete with the little rabbit ear antennas. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, this picture does not do this justice. It is hysterical. It is just the cutest little thing. And it looks all cockeyed here. I don't know why. I couldn't get it straight in the picture, but in real life, it's perfectly fine, and it's just a super cutie. And I don't know about you guys, but I am having a ball with this series. Okay, so for the next DIY, I have another Trash to Treasure, and I'm going to be also using this printout, which I'll link in the description box, and these 5 cans of cat food, and I'm going to be spraying those with this mint-colored spray paint. Next, while the paint was drying on my cans, I went through my cabinet, pretty much trying to find a glass that would be a good match for the bottom of the can, about the same size, and then I'm going to use that to draw the circles around my letters here, my fa la 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 la, and create nice circle cutouts to put on the backs of my cans, or the bottoms of my cans. And then I just arranged the cans in this kind of up and down position, and then used some hot glue and E6000 to attach them all together. And then once the glue that was holding the cans together was set, I went back with some school glue and just placed it there around the front face of the cans, as well as made these kind of little icicle-y type of drips coming down. And I did that all the way around for all 5 of the cans. And then I just took some glitter and sprinkled that all over the glue. And then once the glue and the glitter were dry, I went back with some Mod Podge and just added my fa la 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 la. And there you have it, a fun and festive retro sign that you could either sit on a shelf or tabletop or hang on the wall. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this latest edition of the 12 Styles series, Retro Christmas. If you enjoyed the video, please give a big thumbs up, and please let me know in the comments which one of these was your favorite. If you would like to check out the other videos in this series, I've provided a link here and in the description box. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.